Hayden Panettiere is back in headlines after sharing new details about a vulnerable moment she says happened when she was 18, involving a yacht, a trusted friend, and an unnamed famous musician. On May 19, 2026, the release of her memoir, This Is Me, A Reckoning, gave more context to a story she had already begun discussing publicly. Before we continue, subscribe, like, and share to support Starline Daily for more celebrity updates and trending entertainment news told with verified facts and respect. The new attention centers on a chapter in Panettiere's memoir called Trust. In it, she recalls traveling in the south of France aboard what she describes as a luxury yacht. At the time, Panettiere was 18, already known from years in film and television, and she says she was traveling with a woman she considered one of her closest confidants. According to Panettiere's account, the trip changed when that friend led her away from dinner and into a private cabin. Inside, she says, was a famous British singer-songwriter in bed under the sheets. Panettiere writes that the friend encouraged her to get into the bed before leaving her alone in the room. The identity of the musician has not been publicly confirmed. Panettiere has not named him in the memoir or in her recent interviews, and there is no verified public record identifying him. That matters, because the responsible way to cover this story is to stay with what she has publicly said, not to guess or turn an unnamed account into internet speculation. Panettiere says she was shocked by the situation and briefly complied before realizing she needed to get out. In her account, she told the man that whatever he may have been told, nothing was going to happen. She then left the cabin, returned to her own room, and made plans to leave the yacht. What makes the story especially important to Panettiere's memoir is not just the setting, but the feeling of betrayal. She writes about trusting the person who brought her into that room, and later feeling as though that trust had been used against her. In the memoir, the story becomes part of a larger reflection on what it meant to grow up in entertainment, where she says adults often managed her choices, and where she learned to override her own instincts. Earlier in May, while speaking on the On Purpose podcast, Panettiere also reflected on how differently she sees that moment now. She said that at 18, even though she felt mature because she had already lived so much in public, she now understands how vulnerable she still was. She connected that realization to the development of judgment and decision-making in young adulthood, and said she did not recognize the danger before the situation suddenly changed. That is why this story is being discussed now. It is not only a single disturbing memory from a celebrity memoir. It is part of Panettiere's broader public reckoning with childhood fame, pressure, trauma, addiction, recovery, and the long process of reclaiming her own story. Her publisher describes This Is Me as a candid memoir from the actress known for Heroes, Nashville, Remember the Titans, Scream 4, and Scream 6. The book also places her career in the context of growing up in front of cameras, facing public scrutiny, and later speaking more openly about experiences she had kept private for years. Panettiere has also explained why some people in the book remain unnamed. In a recent interview, she said the choice was partly about protecting herself and her company from legal conflict, especially because some of the people she writes about are still connected to the entertainment industry. That means the open question remains limited and clear. She has shared her account, but she has not publicly identified every person involved. For viewers following this story, the clearest confirmed update is this. Hayden Panettiere has now expanded on the yacht incident in her memoir, after first discussing it publicly in a podcast appearance. She says she was 18 at the time, says a trusted friend led her into the situation, says she left before anything further happened, and says the experience changed how she understood trust and safety around powerful people. As of now, there is no confirmed legal action tied to this specific memoir account, and the unnamed musician's identity has not been publicly confirmed. The focus remains on Panettiere's own words, her decision to publish the story, and the larger conversation her memoir raises about young performers, boundaries, and the cost of being famous before adulthood is fully understood. Thank you for supporting Starline Daily. We will continue following only the confirmed public updates, especially if Panettiere shares more context during her book rollout.